Alright, Math 1. Today we're solving multi-step equations, which is, again, review from last year. Your essential question is, can you solve a multi-step equation, and can you check the reasonableness of your solution? So let's take a look at our first problem here. It is solving a two-step equation, which should be pretty easy. The height in feet of a tree after x years is 1.5x plus 15. After how many years is the tree 24 feet tall? So, to set up this problem, we would say, okay, it's 1.5x plus 15 equals 24. And again, to solve a two-step equation, we subtract off whatever is added or subtract. We add or subtract whatever is added or subtracted. So subtract 15 from both sides of my equal sign because I have to keep everything in balance. So I have 1.5x equals 9. And then we divide by 1.5. And I get x equals 6. So my tree is 6 years old, which I should label years. Next we're going to combine like terms to solve. So on this first one, the first thing we want to do is check and see, okay, is there anything on one side of the equal sign that I can combine? So looking at just one side, what are my like terms here? I have an 8x and a 6x. Those are like terms because they're both x's and they have the same exponent. So same variable, same exponent. So 8x minus 6x would be 2x minus 25 equals negative 35. And then I just have a two-step equation. So I add 25 to both sides. I get 2x equals negative 10. Divide by 2, x equals negative 5. And for my next one, again, I look at just one side of my equal sign. I say, what can I combine? Well, here I have a negative 4 and a negative 8, which makes negative 12. And then I have just a two-step equation, so I would subtract 17 from both sides. I have negative 12n equals 6. Divide by negative 12. N equals negative 1/2. Okay. On the next set of problems, I have just a two-step equation. 3z plus 1 equals 7. So, since I look over here and I have nothing to combine, all I have to do is subtract 1 to get rid of it. Negative 3z equals 6. Divide by negative 3. Z equals negative 2. And on the next one, again, if I look here, I have nothing to combine. So I'm just going to add 9 to get rid of it. I have 1/2 x equals negative 16. Now, I can either divide by 1/2, or I can multiply by the reciprocal. So I could say times 2, because reciprocal just means if I have 1/2, reciprocal just means flip them upside down. So the reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2/1. The reciprocal of 3/4 would be 4/3, and so on and so forth. So multiplication of fractions, or division of fractions, is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So if I multiply by 2 to get rid of that, multiply by 2 on this side, I get x equals -32. Alright, using distributive property. So this incorporates more than just combining like terms. Distributive property, you'll remember, is when we have a number outside of parentheses that has to be distributed to each piece inside of the parentheses. So I have to multiply 2 times 1 and 2 times 5x. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 5x is 10x, and I kept my minus sign in there. Put down the plus 4 equals -8. Now I can combine like terms. So I have a 2 and I have a positive 4. Oh, my highlighter really hides my numbers. Oh, and my eraser erases it. Alright, so I have a 2 and I have a positive 4. And I can combine those, and that gives me 6 minus 10x equals -8. And now I have just a two-step equation, but I have to remember that my 6 is being added to -10x. The negative on the 10, the negative belongs to the 10. So to get rid of 6, I would subtract 6. I have -10x left over equals -14. Divide by -10, and I get x equals 1.4. Okay, let's try another distributive property problem. Let's choose pink. Sorry, I'm playing with my new app. Okay, distribute the -3 times the x, which gives me -3x. -3 times 2 gives me -6. Then I have plus 5x equals -9. So I can combine here (3x) and 5x. -3x plus 5x leaves me with 2x. Minus 6 equals -9. So I add 6 to both sides. I get 2x equals -3. Divide by 2. X equals -3/2. And I can leave it just like that. Alright, turn over your paper to the next page. We have a real-life application problem. Use the table to find the number of miles X you need to run on Friday so that the mean number of miles run per day is 1.5. So we know to find the mean, we add up all of our numbers. To find the mean, we add up each of our numbers that we find here. and we divide by however many there are. So what that would look like is 2 plus 0 plus 1.5 plus 0 plus x divided by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is 5. And we know that we want the mean number to equal 1.5. So if I were to simplify this and add up all these parts that I can that you see here, 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1.5 is 3.5, plus 0 is 3.5. So I have 3.5 plus x divided by 5 equals 1.5. Now, to solve this whole thing, I have to multiply, I have to get rid of that denominator. So I have to multiply by 5 to get rid of that. And 1.5 times 5 is going to give me 7.5. So 3.5 plus x equals 7.5. So what do you know has to equal x? If I subtract 3.5 off, because that's how much you've already run, x has to equal 4. Okay, number 2 is really similar. You scored 88, 92, and 87 on 3 tests. Write and solve an equation to find the score you need on the 4th test so that your mean score is 90. So you have 88 plus 92 plus 87 plus this 4th test, which we don't know, divided by 4, and we want that to equal 90. So if I add all of these up, find my handy dandy calculator. If I add all of these up, I get 88 plus 92 plus 87. I get 267 plus x equals 90. And that's all divided by 4. So to get rid of that 4, this is all kind of a 267 times x is kind of attached together because it's all above this division symbol. So I have to get rid of divide by 4 first, and to do that I multiply by 4. So I end up with 267 plus x equals 360, and I subtract 267. So x equals 93. Alright. If you look at the remaining problems, you have 3 and 4 on this page, and then you have also 5, 6, 7, and 8. I would like you to try all of those problems for homework. So you have 4 homework problems to do. You'll recall that to find surface area, we find the area of each surface. So the area of this surface would be 8w, since we have 8 times w. This one would be identical. The bottom one would be 6w, and so would the top. And then the front and the back would be the same, and they're both 6 times 8, which is 48. So you should have a big long equation. 8w plus 8w plus 6w plus 6w plus 48 plus 48, and for a total of 208. You should be able to figure out what that w equals. Okay, make sure your homework's done for tomorrow. Have a great night.